Welcome to SNC's podcast series, SNC Critical Insights. I'm Mark Trevino, and I co-head our corporate governance practice. Today, I'll be discussing how the COVID-19 pandemic and other recent events will increase the prevalence of human capital proposals submitted by shareholders following the 2020 proxy season. With respect to human capital management proposals, these proposals really started in 2018. The level of support for them has been pretty steady at 25%, which is meaningful. The pass rate of 5 is a first time, and it's very, very difficult to predict how current events feed into shareholder proposals. There is a lag and a filter, and you just don't really know how that's going to connect. But I venture to say that companies will feel the need to be more responsive to proposals in this area in light of the pandemic and Black Lives Matter, just the same way as we saw the need to be more sensitive to these proposals and the connection with Me Too 2 years ago. So, workplace diversity increased substantially relative to 2019. They were predominantly sponsored by Trillium. This year, about a third reached a vote, which is different from last year, which was 2/3. The majority of these requested implementation of a diversity report or policies at the general workplace level. Only 2 were at the management level. I might expect to see that change this year. There was a subcategory of proposals that wanted policies to prohibit discrimination based on gender identity and sexual orientation. There were 6 of those. Again, they were all Trillium proposals. Shareholder support was fairly high for each of these proposals. There's noise in the total number because there are some anti-workplace diversity proposals in there, which 3 of which were voted at Netflix, Starbucks, and Twitter, and they received what you might expect, which is like a 1% vote, give or take. And so they hold down this number. If you were to exclude those, you're looking at shareholder support of 45%, which is very, very high. And again, I would expect that this year, if you receive this proposal, it would be higher. The 3 that passed seem to be a bit unique, so I don't know that we would take anything from that, but I do think that this is an area where I would expect activity and successful activity for the next season. The next category of human capital proposal is gender racial pay gap, which is on slide 16. And these dropped significantly from the prior year, and shareholder support also declined meaningfully. I don't know whether the focus has changed on that. Perhaps Citigroup last year became the first U.S. company to disclose a global unadjusted pay gap. It was joined by Starbucks and MasterCard. Those are the only 2 that Arjuna noted. They were the ones that submitted all the proposals this year. Those were the only companies that got an A grade on gender pay from Arjuna as well. And I think the final sort of category that we want to highlight of human capital is arbitration of employee claims. And in that case, we saw this. We saw it meaningfully in 2019. We saw it again in 2020. A number were excluded through the no action process. A number were withdrawn. Of the two that came to a vote, Chipotle's passed, but I think Chipotle was also going through other issues at the time. And the one at Alphabet received meaningful support as a second proposal. Notably, would be higher than the threshold the SEC is just adopting at this point. Separately, we should also discuss social capital proposals. They became more prevalent this year they became prevalent this year in the sense that other than human rights, we really saw for the first time corporate purpose proposals and other social capital proposals stemming really, I think, from the Business Roundtable statement on purpose, which we've all discussed a fair amount. Some signatories received proposals suggesting that they're not meeting their pledge and that they should change their governance documents to accommodate that. Those proposals received relatively low support. I don't know whether these proposals in their current form, you're going to see more of them. I think there's going to be more specific proposals around the pandemic that you'll be seeing in the coming season, but we'll have to see. Thank you for listening to SNC Critical Insights. For more information about our 2020 proxy season review, please visit us on the web at www.solcrom.com.